G'day. Thanks for clicking play, and no doubt you've done so because you searched up the Canon EF-M 22mm f2 STM pancake lens for Canon's range of reasonably inexpensive mirrorless cameras, the M series. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. This lens here, it's great on paper, so is it a great lens in reality? Are you going to buy it? I reckon you probably are, but first of all, let's weigh it up. Okay, so let's talk really briefly about the M series of cameras. Here is the M50, but Canon make an entire range of them. You have the Canon M to start out, the M3, the M6, the M100, the M50, the M6 II. There's a wide range of them, and along with that series of cameras, Canon also produce a number of these native lenses. They are designated EF-M, which means they'll fit onto Canon's EF-M mount. And the EF-M mount is unique to the mirrorless series, designated M, and only lenses that are designated EF-M will fit onto that mount. You can of course adapt the EF-S and EF lenses to the M series of cameras, but you can't adapt the EF-M series of lenses back to any of the other mounts at this stage. Okay, so we're going to look at this one lens here, which as I mentioned is the Canon EF-M 22mm f2 STM. It really is a great lens on paper because it's got that 22mm field of view, which makes it really versatile for a whole range of photography. If we take into account the 1.6 times crop factor of the APS-C size sensors on Canon's M series of mirrorless cameras, that takes it out to about 35.2 millimeters. I know this because I did the maths only just a few moments ago. So you can take my word for it, otherwise punch it in, 22 times 1.6, 35.2, and that really is quite a versatile focal length for a whole range of photography. So you could easily do landscapes with that, you could do travel photography, you could do street photography, you could do some architecture, you could do a bit of astro if you really wanted to. We've got the fast aperture. You could do events photography with it. You can do close-up photography or sub-macro. You can do nice portraiture of this lens as well. So it really is a great versatile lens, and it is a fantastic option on your camera. If you have a look at the form factor here, it really is quite discreet, nice and compact, and just looks really nice and tidy. Everything's like dialed in on this lens. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this lens. As you can see, it's based on a metal lens mount, which is fantastic. In fact, the whole body is made out of metal. It's got this nice brushed matte finish. It really is quite sleek. In terms of controls, it's pretty limited, i.e. there are none. Well, that's not entirely true. There is the focus ring on the front of the lens, which is electronically coupled to the focusing motor inside, the STM stepping motor. So it's really nice and quiet, it's really nice and smooth. I mean, it just spins endlessly, of course. And then on the camera, it's nice and secure, and it's a nice form factor, and it sits there nice and comfortably. So everything's nice. Everything's nice, which leads me to the point, this is a great lens on paper, but what about in reality? The reason I say that is because when I saw this lens, I really wanted to get hold of it as soon as possible because I thought it was going to be a great versatile lens, and what also attracted me was that f2 aperture. So it's got quite a fast aperture, it can receive a lot of light, and also it would allow you to achieve some background blur or those out of focus areas being an f2. So indeed I did pick it up, and I have to say I don't regret it, and I don't believe you will too. So what is the problem then? Why am I actually sitting here making this video? It's because sure, it's great on paper and it's a must-have and it's really great, but there's something not quite there for me. Look, the other native lens that I have for the Canon M series is the kit lens, the 18-55 f3.5 to 5.6 STM. Now, if I'm picking up the M50 to do some shooting with it, I really want to take the 22mm f2, but what do I end up taking is the 18-55. But why? This is the better lens on paper. It's got a great focal length, it's got a much faster aperture. Why would I take the slower lens? That's just because with the 22mm, everything just seems a little bit vanilla. I mean, don't get me wrong, the photographs are great, and we're going to be looking at the photographs if we haven't already, and here's some photographs here to look at. They look fantastic. It's just that it's a little bit vanilla. F2 might lead you to believe you're going to get that amazing rendering of bokeh or the out of focus areas, and you do get that to a degree with this lens. But because it is quite a wide field of view, that effect is dramatically reduced. Because as we know, of course, the effects of a fast aperture are really pronounced when they're downrange more. But when it's in a wide field of view, it can become a little bit subdued. And so I do find it difficult to try and get that artistic quality that I'm kind of looking for out of the lens, which really slots it straight into the range of actually just using a kit lens. I also find that even though it's such a discreet, nice little compact form factor, I find it's almost a little bit, it's a bit weird in my hand. So that can be a little bit distracting to me. It's not a negative as such, it just distracts me from the feeling of being comfortable with the camera in my hand and being able to operate the controls and feel my way around it. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but that's just my thought on it. And who knows, you might agree, you might love pancake lenses. They might be everything you've dreamed of. And of course it can bring it into the range where they match up to a point and shoot or something like that and make it really nice and easy and compact when you're shooting. But for me, I find it just a little too small. As I mentioned, the photographs are really, really great. They are sharp, they are smooth, they are clean, they are crisp. There's very little distortion or aberrations or artifacting or anything of those negative things and that you're looking out for in your photographs. You don't see a lot of it. There's nothing to complain about there. Okay, I know that's all over the place, but let me get to the point. There's nothing to complain about. There's also not really anything to rave about. Is it a must-have lens for the Canon M series of cameras? Sure it's a must-have lens. Sure, I mean there are only about 5 or 6 lenses, so they're probably all must-haves. I mean I think the must-have is probably the 34mm f1.4, is that the one? Or the 11 to 22 f4.5 to 6.3, something like that. And then you've got the 55 to 200 4.5 to 6.3, that's quite slow. Anyway, this is becoming a bit of a ramble, so the point of the matter is, look, there's nothing to complain about the lens. It is a terrific lens, but there's also not a lot that you're going to write home about. It's going to do several jobs for you, several jobs for you, and it's going to do them all well. And so the question is, should you buy the lens? If it was me and I didn't have this lens and I had the opportunity to buy it again, I would buy it again, sure. But there's just something every now and again that stops me from picking it up. Hey, I hope this helps, and it's just my thoughts. If you're interested in this lens, I reckon give it a try, buy it, see how you go, and if not, you can move it on. I notice online there's always demand for this lens. There's always a good price. It hasn't fluctuated at all. In New Zealand, it's around $300 to $350. If you do get it and you don't like it, you will get your money out of it. So I reckon dive in. Thanks a lot for watching. It's really, really great. We're coming at you from Wellington, New Zealand, and I hope wherever you are, you're doing well at the moment. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I really want to boost these subs through the roof. It took me over 1.5 years to get from 12 subscribers to over 100. And now in the next year, I want to hit it to 1,000 and try and really push this in a lot more. So thank you very, very much. And once again, smash that like button and we're going to catch you on the next one.